Okay, welcome to this Tuesday, November 7th Park Board meeting. Please call the roll.
Mr. Cappers.
Here.
Mr. Fox.
Here.
Mrs. Westfall.
Here.
All members are present.
Okay, we have our October 3rd minutes presented to us. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions to those minutes? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? They stand accepted. Jeremy, good afternoon to you. Do you have anything to add to your report?
No, sir, I do not.
Okay. Not that it's been quiet, you've been busy, you just have everything in your report.
Extremely busy.
Okay. All right. Mr. Seiler, oh, any questions for Jeremy? Park Superintendent. Okay. Mr. Seiler, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Do you have anything to add to your report?
I do not.
Gee, Merry Christmas, why even show up? Okay. Do we have any questions of the Recreation Director?
No.
No.
Okay. Your report was also very comprehensive. So that. Mr. Green, do you have anything to add to your report?
Nothing to add.
Nothing either. Okay, well, this is going to be going really quick, though. The only matter that I have for the Planning Commission is going to be addressed in the presentation here in just a minute. So we'll continue on to old business. We have a recommendation that we are to make one way or the other about accepting fees in lieu or parkland in the Fox Harbor subdivision. That matter was tabled at our last meeting, so we have to have a motion to take it off the table for consideration. Is there such a motion?
Motion to remove from the table.
There's a motion to remove. Is there a second?
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is removed from the table for discussion. In the presentation, we have with us the presenter, Tim Davis. If you would like to come forward, please. State your name and address and your social security number, if you would.
All right, thank you. This was previously tabled. The City of Troy received an application for Fox Harbor subdivision, which is located off of West Main Street. If you're familiar with that, it's adjacent to King's Chapel, the King's Chapel subdivision. Currently, what they want to do is propose to build a housing development of 208 lots. With that, our subdivision regulations calls for 3% of open recreation space. They are requesting to get a waiver for that from the Planning Commission, and the Planning Commission wishes to have a recommendation from the Board of Park Commissioners. If you do accept fees in lieu of, you will assume $104,000, which will go into the Park and Rec capital budget. That number would be if all 208 lots are developed and built upon. The fees wouldn't be collected at one time. Essentially, we collect those with the zoning permits. So when you come in for your new house, we charge $500 on top of that. So it won't be a one shot. It'll be over as time goes. As you know, subdivisions build out several different years, so the money will come in as it develops. If you choose to require open space, they would be required to give you 2.07 acres of open space to be utilized, which means they would go back to the drawing board and do a revised drawing, preliminary drawing for the city to review. Staff does recommend the acceptance of the fees in lieu of for several reasons. One, that the King's Chapel Park is currently 7.72 acres. It does contain a pond that is about 2.5 acres. And if you took the combined development of King's Chapel at 95 acres and Fox Harbor, which is approximately just a little less than 70 acres, we would need 4.94 acres of parkland. And what you have in King's Chapel Park is 7.72 acres. Without the pond, you have 5.15 acres. And that park would be connected by sidewalk to the Fox Harbor subdivision, so access would be provided.
Any questions of staff?
Yeah, what's the proposed timeline to build?
It'll vary as the sections go on. They have not submitted their phasing, which they're not required to have that. So they'll come in, usually they do about 20 lots a phase. So they'll bid that out probably over 10 phases, I would guess. So.
It's not unusual for these subdivisions to last for 10 years to go ahead and be fully developed. And as Tim indicated, the fees in lieu would not be coming in at one time. It'd be really nice to see $4,000 thrown in our lap, but that's not going to happen. It's going to dribble in.
Does that money escalate each year, or if it doesn't come in for another 10 years, does it go up?
No,
That
it would-
$500?
The $500 is set by city council.
It's by ordinance. The ordinance hasn't been revisited for a while. I've been on the park board, and it's increased twice, I think, while I've been on the park board.
In 25 or 30 years?
Yeah, for 40. So, yeah, it's been a while since it's been reviewed.
Okay. Yeah, my question goes along with what we had talked about last week from citizen Anna Roseter, who was looking to build the park in McKay Grace and/or the other one near Haywood School across from there.
Right.
With the funds, I thought if we were getting 104,000 up front, that could
Wouldn't that be nice?
completely offset that, so.
Yeah. But I wouldn't anticipate, well, nothing any of this year, maybe next fiscal year, they might get started on some development, but he's got other lots and other subdivisions ready to build out too. So I don't know when he would be even starting construction in this development. I personally am okay with it. Just for your personal edification, we tabled this last month because staff wasn't prepared, Tim wasn't here, staff wasn't prepared to go ahead and discuss the amount of the money or the acreage that would have been provided to us. It was placed on the agenda for the Planning Commission. That was tabled by Planning Commission because they did not have a recommendation of Park Board at that time. So Planning Commission is meeting again tomorrow and will probably take into consideration our recommendation when dealing with the rezoning. Okay. Any other questions from staff? Okay.
So I'll make a motion to accept the fees in lieu of the open space.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion?
I second that.
Any other further discussion? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Westfall?
Yes.
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Mr. Cappers?
Yes.
Approved.
Okay, that recommendation will be forwarded on to Planning Commission. Mr. Davis, you'll report accordingly?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, on to new business. We have a request from Troy Junior Trojans Baseball to raise funds for the purpose of improving field conditions at Archer Park. Do we have somebody from Troy Junior Baseball that would like to address the park board? Sir, come on up and please state your name and address so our secretary can go ahead and put your name in public record.
Rory Hoke, 1344 Essex Court.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, sir. What would you like us to consider?
So I'm here on behalf of the Troy Junior Trojans baseball organization, and I'm the secretary and on the fields and committee, or facilities committee. And one of the problems we've ran into is space. We went from 11 teams, 6 years ago they started with one team. Now we're at 14 teams, including 3 softball. And we all play a part of the Midwest Ohio Baseball League. Mrs. Westfall, I'm sure you're familiar with that league. But we are looking, last year we started playing at Archer Park, and it's kind of a hidden gem out there. The baseball fields are tucked away, and it worked well for the younger kids. There just needs to be some improvements made to the outfield, and we're kind of in the preliminary stages right now. We just we don't have the full funding for it yet, but would like to start with the front field. Improve the outfield, level out the outfield, and then add fencing to what we had done last year, because we just kind of did dugout fences and worked around the field. So we're kind of, with Mercer Field, obviously that's a great place, and it's only one field, and with 14 teams, it's tough to squeeze all those onto one field.
Who schedules these now? Ken, are you involved in that?
Yeah, we coordinate with them for scheduling. As he said, they've had several teams. I believe it was 5 or 6 that played last year on Mercer Field. And a couple of their teams, I think one played at North Market Street, but they're continuing to have more teams. And they used Archer Park last year, made some improvements to that facility, and they want to continue to try to reinvest some of those dollars into that field, simply because they have more teams than what they've had in the past. So we coordinate the scheduling of their program with them on the use of city fields, yes.
The improvements that are scheduled, that you're hoping to make to these fields, are that are they going to go ahead and encroach on any other uses we have for Archer Park? No. Okay, all right. And as we understand it, and the proposal that you're making is you're just asking permission to make those improvements. The cost of those improvements would be borne by your organization.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Jeremy, do you have any problem with that?
No, I think it's a really good use of Archer Park. It would be a nice improvement, much needed improvement to those fields and be able to better utilize them.
Okay.
Do any other teams use those fields besides these guys?
Yeah, I don't think we did last year much, but most likely as we move forward, there would be teams in their especially in their off season, that would continue to utilize those.
As a practice field or as a?
Potentially practice and then potentially games as well.
Okay.
And there's a statement that he made in his presentation that he understands the improvements would be made on city property and the ownership would continue on as such. While we would want favored access to the fields during our season, we fully expect the fields to be used by others. So that's good.
And Troy Junior Baseball will be the ones making the improvements, or will that be Jeremy in the parks?
It's my understanding that we're going to kind of coordinate together. You know, everything, obviously we run everything by you guys. And, you know, one of the things with leveling of the field, that's going to require a large amount of dirt brought in. So we'd probably look at some form of sponsorship. And, I mean, we have the manpower. Obviously, we want to check and make sure we abide by your regulations first, as I feel like we've built a pretty good relationship so far, I know, through Bill Wolke, and, you know, we've talked quite, you know, through text, Jeremy, so.
Just to be clear, this is Troy
Junior.
Junior Trojans baseball, not Troy Junior baseball.
Troy Junior Trojans, correct,
They're two different entities.
correct.
Troy Junior baseball is out at Newt Fields.
Yes, sir.
Correct, okay.
Okay, the one thing I remember from last spring was we kind of had a few meetings where we were talking about sponsor and signs for the softball. So I don't know what the plans were for getting a sponsorship to help with the dirt, but I think we determined that signs could only go up certain times during the games. It was a couple meetings that we went by, so I wouldn't want you to promise anything to a sponsor with that we wouldn't be able to allow.
Right, and typically what we do is we give plaques so they can put it in their business. That's kind of been our practice. We haven't done a whole lot of signage besides a banner that we hang during the games, but then we take it right back down.
Okay, any further questions? Okay, I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve the improvements as outlined in the statement upon the condition that they're supervised by Jeremy, not supervised necessarily, but the location of those improvements and things are approved by Jeremy.
I second that.
At your expense, of course. Okay, and there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Mrs. Westfall?
Yes.
Mr. Cappers?
Yes.
It's approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, matters that are not on the agenda. Got a communication here before me that has caused me great concern. It's a letter from Ken Green. Dear Mr. Cappers and fellow Board of Park Commissioners, I would like to inform you that I will be retiring effective March 1, 2018. I have enjoyed working for the City of Troy with the Board of Park Commissioners and sincerely appreciate the support provided to me during my 14 seasons at Miami Shore Golf Course. While I look forward to my retirement, I will miss being a part of the board in the City of Troy. And I want to let you know, we will miss you as well. If I can be of any assistance prior to my departure and afterwards, please let me know, and we're going to take you up on that. I'd be happy to assist in any way to help provide a smooth transition, and we appreciate the effort. I would move that reluctantly to accept the resignation of Ken Green effective March 1, 2018.
Second that.
Any discussion? You know, we don't have to vote in favor of it.
I know, it's sad.
All right, please call the roll.
Mr. Cappers?
Yes.
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Mrs. Westfall?
Yes.
It's approved.
It is with reluctance that we've accepted that, Ken. You have been a vital part of our organization for the last 14 years, and we appreciate everything you've done.
Well, again, I want to thank everybody on the board for their support all these years, along with the city, It's been really 14 great years of working for you.
Good. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
And we know Piqua missed you.
And
I see a lot of other people out there. Do we have anything else to come before the board of Department? Ma'am, why don't you come up and address? Name and address if you would, please. Give them the respect that's due to you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Diana Thompson, Executive Director of the Miami County Visitors Bureau, 405 Southwest Public Square here in Troy. So I am here today to ask for the use of Prouty Plaza on Friday, August 24th and Saturday, August 26th for the 2018 Tour de Donut. They will be opening up registration here very soon, and we wanted to come before the park board to get your permission for the land use for that. A new element this year that is key and very important is that there is a new partnership with Buckeye Be the Match, which is a 5K race walk to benefit blood cancers. This historically has been run by Tom Kendall and his family and many volunteers, and they have created a terrific partnership with the Bower Sox from Tour de Donut, and will create, the name may change a little bit, Tour de Donut won't, but Tom's event may a little bit lend itself to the donut in some regard, but it's going to be a wonderful opportunity. So basically, we're asking, there will be entertainment Friday night, and the use of Prouty Plaza is important for that. But primarily on Saturday, Prouty will be used for Be the Match. The tent that we put up will be there for that purpose, for registration and so on and so forth. And then they will also be utilizing the city stage for their entertainment. And then at noon, the Tour de Donut and continued entertainment will take over. So we're excited to have and created that partnership so that Tour de Donut has a very large resource of names of people. So we can encourage them to promote and be part of Be the Match and make that successful for Tom's group. And on the other hand, Tom used to have a bicycle event. It's just going to get blended into Tour de Donut. So I think that it's a good match. We thank you very much for the use of the property this year. It was an enormous success, and so we are asking for that permission.
Your dates, once again, you said Friday the 24th?
Of August. It has changed to August, and we hope that weekend.
Oh, you said Friday the 24th and Saturday the 26th.
Oh, I'm so sorry, the 25th and 26th.
25th.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
my mistake. It's been a long day.
That's okay.
The 25th and 26th.
Any questions, Diana?
Oh, sorry. 24th is Friday.
And 25th.
25th.
Thank
Saturday.
you. Okay, we'll get it right.
That weekend, okay.
Yeah, it's that weekend.
The weekend before Labor Day.
That is correct. That Friday and Saturday.
Jeremy, Ken, do you see any conflicts with what your scheduled events are?
This is the first I've known of anything, so I
Oh,
think
okay.
we're okay at this point.
We actually
This is
haven't started, planning a lot of our events yet. That's going to be starting later this week for some of them. So knowing what these dates are that they've requested helps us as we do that planning.
And there'd be insurance requirements?
Of course, as usual. And
As
they-
always.
They
And you-
provided those just as required last
Okay,
year.
very good.
No problem.
Good.
Yes. And we did check with schools to make sure that we didn't have any conflict with that as
Okay,
well.
good.
So,
All right. Any other questions? Anybody want to make a motion to permit the use of the Prouty Plaza?
I'll make a motion to permit.
Okay, there's a motion to permit.
Second that.
There's a second. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Mr. Cappers?
Yes.
Mrs. Westfall?
Yes.
It's approved.
Diana, thank you.
thank you very much.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Mr. Kegley, do you have anything to come before the board? Thank you, sir. Do any of these other staff have anything to come before the board? Board members want to discuss anything further?
Yeah, I just want to follow up again. I mentioned it earlier on the request about the park.
Yeah.
And I saw Mrs. Rossiter probably butchering her name. Speaking with the mayor afterwards, I don't know if she talked with you anymore, Jeremy, or if
No.
anyone's heard from the mayor on what the status is of
I've
that.
not heard any follow-up on that.
I haven't heard anything either.
Okay.
Susan,
I am not Susan.
have you heard anything more?
No, sir, I cannot comment on that on behalf of the mayor.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think it's good to keep on in the back of our minds when it comes to planning and everything. I think it's good, and there's not a playground, and having a young kid and a wife who stays home and takes them out during the day, I can see the importance of that for everyone over in that neighborhood, especially if they can't get on Hayward School property, so.
Certainly.
Just want to
I would also suggest that for next year's budget, whoever's taking a look at McCaig Park and the Haywood Park, take a look at that and see if we can address that issue a little bit. Okay, hearing nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second that.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We hereby